Hello everybody, my name is Naya and I'm the Black female engineer. I provide content for new and aspiring software engineers, and oh my goodness, today is a doozy because we are going to be talking about tech layoffs. Now if you don't know anything about this subject, don't worry, I have you covered, but also maybe we should step outside once in a while, check out the scenery and all that, because this news has been filling all of my social media at least. As of today, January 21st, 2023, 118,000 tech workers have been laid off. And I'm talking top company layoffs. Meta, Google, Microsoft, Amazon. We already know about all the mess going on at Twitter. And I wanted to just be a one-stop shop of, okay, what's going on? Why are these layoffs happening? How long will they happen for? How are the people being laid off affected? But then also, how are the people who have not yet joined tech but are learning to code, are in university, are in coding boot camps, all that, how are they now being affected by those layoffs? Now let me start with a quick rundown of what has been happening. Yesterday, January 20th, Google announced that it plans to lay off 12,000 of their workforce. Now if you think that's a lot, look at these other numbers. Microsoft is set to lay off 10,000 employees and Amazon 18,000 of their employees. Now, a quick note with Amazon, it looks to be primarily focused on HR and sales employees and not so much tech workers, but still 18,000 is a lot. Meta is set to lay off 11,000 of its workers, which is actually the most significant round of layoffs Meta has ever gone through. This amounts to 13% of its entire staff. And finally, Salesforce cutting off 10% of its staff, laying off 7,000 of its workers. Now, in talking about layoffs, a lot of comments that I'll see is people saying,
oh, well, they're okay because they have severance packages.
Let's talk about what those look like for some of these companies. Starting with Facebook, they have provided employees with 16 weeks of severance, along with 2 weeks for every year that they worked for Facebook/Meta. They also are provided the opportunity to vest their restricted share units along with health insurance coverage for a predetermined amount of time, although right now I'm actually not sure what that time is. For retail workers at Amazon within the United States, people who have been laid off are actually going to be provided with 60 days of pay and benefits, staying on the payroll even though they are not expected to keep on working. After that, it's noted that they will receive severance pay as well. However, the amount is not yet known to me or the public. I'm not sure. So far, it looks like Salesforce has the best severance package, because they are offering laid off employees nearly 5 months of pay. Their severance package also includes 6 months of health coverage and 2 months of outplacement support. If you don't know what outplacement support is, it's basically a company's career services. They help with resumes and interviewing and really just getting the employee or previous employee placed at another job. Now, thinking about those previous comments again, where people are like, okay, well, they're fine because they have X, Y, and Z of severance and packages and all that. 16 weeks isn't much. 5 months isn't much, especially when you have a family, a home, an apartment. And looking at why all of this is happening right now, there are 3 main things to look at. 1, COVID habits. Now it is 2022, and the actions that consumers had during 2020 and 2021, tech companies banked on that. COVID happened and people started working from home, people started online shopping, online spending, not traveling as much, and all of these different things to acclimate to this new world we lived in. Well, top companies like Meta, like Google, they banked on these actions, these consumer actions being the new way of the land, of the world, etc. And so they hired like crazy. Another reason there was a hiring surge was because now that everything was moving online, companies needed added support for the increased demand in technology. One big example of this is Amazon. In 2020, their workforce swelled to about 1.6 million individuals. Previously, their workforce was at around 800,000. So they basically doubled. And when we think about, everything we were doing in 2020, shopping online, getting groceries online, the retail bubble, and companies like Amazon and Salesforce, they experienced just so much consumer demand. So it makes sense that they expanded. However, like I said before, the prediction of, this is going to be how consumers operate from now on, oh my goodness, that was the wrong one. The second reason for these cuts is, inflation. Due to the impacts inflation has had on consumers have less flexibility, they have less of a say as to where their money goes. In June 2022, food prices increased 10.4%, which is the largest increase since 1981. Energy prices rose over 40%, the largest increase since 1980. And so overall, consumers' budgets, they are strapped because now money that could have been going towards retail and Amazon shopping is going to things like groceries and gas. Meaning overall, companies' revenues are decreasing, their share prices are decreasing, and now they need to find some way to get back that income. And then finally, the third, I think, biggest reason that we are experiencing these layoffs today is because in April of 2021, Apple made a huge change to its privacy controls. Now, although really great for just individuals and owners of Apple products, this was so harmful for top tech companies because now they couldn't provide targeted ads to consumers. And companies like Facebook/Meta, they rely heavily on ads to get their revenue. And so these three things combined, privacy controls changing, the rise of inflation, and also the habits of consumers changing from 2020 to how we are now, really just going back to pre-pandemic habits, it has created this burst of, the tech bubble. Now, it's not all bad. Depending on who you are, actually, it might be all bad. But if you are a person who either works in a tech startup or owns a tech startup, tech startups are actually a big winner in all of this because now we have previous Meta and Google and Amazon employees looking to get a job. Startups are hiring. They have access now to top developers from all around the country. And honestly, this may actually be a win-win for those developers and startups because pretty historically, startups are used to providing alternative benefits to combat the lack of financial benefits they can provide their workers. This includes things like 4-day work weeks and unlimited vacation days. So now it can actually be a win-win because these developers, who many of them I'm sure are used to a very rigid work structure, and what I'm predicting will happen is they will experience a level of 1, responsibility, 2, impact, and 3, flexibility that they hadn't in their previous roles. And so hopefully that is a nice little bright side for anyone who is watching this who has been laid off from a big tech company or a tech company in general. Now the question is, what happens to individuals like me who are looking to or were looking to enter the space from a previous background, whether through a coding bootcamp or self-learning, etc. Well, a big trend that's been observed is the rise of contract work. In January 2021, so about 2 years ago, only 6% of tech jobs were for contract work. Now that number has gone up to 20%. Hiring contractors in lieu of employees is obviously great for companies because this means extra cost savings, because now they don't need to typically pay for things like healthcare or time off, but it can also be a really great thing for contractors themselves. Being a contractor means added flexibility, added experience across multiple different jobs and industries, and also the ability to work on your professional growth by your own means and by your own, by your own standards. And so if you are currently looking to learn to code, get into tech, please do not be discouraged by this. Everything that's been going on in terms of layoffs and just the seeming, just chaos going on right now, it's been experienced before. Layoffs have occurred before, and still somehow tech is still the sector that survives it all. Please continue to focus on your learning and really focus on your professional profile. That means showing your capabilities through portfolio projects, hackathons, open source contributions, and like before, contract work. That is going to be the thing that allows you to prevail past all of this. And so I really hope this video was informative, that it was helpful. Let me know if it was in the comments below. And yeah, we're gonna be talking about this over the next couple of weeks and months, etc. But again, stay hopeful, stay optimistic, because at the end of the day, we need tech, and we need you to learn coding, because that's what lets this world continue to go round. So thank you so much for joining, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, y'all.